We're back. It's week 3 of the football season with head coach Miguel Regalado. Coach, 2-0 to start the year. Big win over William Penn last weekend. Talk about that trip a little bit and coming away with the win out of Oskaloosa.
It was really good to take our young football team on the road, KP, and we got compliments on them at dinner. We got compliments on them at the hotel. I thought they handled it with a lot of maturity, and they came out and performed. I know that we got off to a rough start with the turnover and the touchdown. We found ourselves down. It's one of those strange games that, you know, even in the first half, I never felt like we were out of control of it. I felt like we were in control, even though the score didn't show it. At the end of the game, I felt like we were in control the entire way, even though it looked like maybe at some points we weren't. So it was kind of another methodical game. All three phases again showed up. Lefty came out and sealed the thing in the fourth quarter with a 46-yarder. And it was just really neat to see those guys perform on the road. Hostile environment.
Talk about some guys maybe that you knew had it in them, and then these first 2 games have really stepped up and been a big leader for this program.
You know, we've had quite a few of those guys. You know, for example, on defense, Brian Lane. Brian Lane had an incredible football game, and you might not notice it throughout the game, but then you get to the stats and you're like, holy cow, 2 forced fumbles, he's got a sack, he's got multiple quarterback hits. He's just been a guy that's been there all year long, his entire career. He's been there all camp long, and then these first couple of games, he's just really, really performed well. These young receivers, I can't say enough about, and Adrian Seals continues to show up and just make plays. And, it's strange when you're a highly ranked football team and you're a good football team, you're usually not talking about freshmen. And we are with Seals. Truman was voted by our staff as player of the game again, and he's just playing lights out right now. We watched a clip on him in practice this morning, KP, and he sits in the pocket, then he scrambles to his right, and then makes a no-look pass and sticks it on Billy Brooks' face, and it's just like, holy cow. Coach Morse had to come into my office at 6 a.m. to show me that, and I'm like, wow. I mean, just compared to where we were a year ago, and then you look at our special forces. You got a guy like Seth Simpson that has done it his whole career. He'll tell you he's sick that he missed an extra point. He didn't miss one all last year. He's only missed, I think, 2 in his career. He has been deadly. Every time I put him on the field, I'm 100% confident that he's going to make it. We've got 2 new punters that are picking up the slack for Kenyon Sanders. Dayton Smoot has done well. Josh Gonzalez has come on and done well. And then you got the steady set they can bring in Chris Brown snapping. So we just got a lot of guys that you knew would be there, but they're performing, and it's awesome to see.
Doesn't get any easier this week. Just like every week in the heart of America, what do you expect to see from Culver Stockton this weekend, homecoming weekend as well?
They're young in a lot of spots as well, and I think they're feeling those growing pains of replacing a lot of good football players that they had last year. I expect them to come out and play hard. When you're looking at their first 2 games, they're playing extremely hard, and then they, in one of those 2 games, they get down by quite a bit. This most recent game, they had one and they let it slip away. So they're kind of in a fragile state right now where they know their record isn't showing what they really are, and so that makes the team dangerous when they're trying to get off that hump and come into a place like us and show that, hey, we are a good football team. Defensively, they sit in one front and they are disciplined in it and they play fast because they don't do a whole lot. Offensively, look out for their receiver. They have a receiver that I think is as good as anybody in the league. Number 13, he is a playmaker, and they have a quarterback that can get him the ball. So I think if we can cover him, eliminate the deep balls with him, continue to be methodical on offense, and play really, really sound in all 4 of our phases, I think we have a really good shot to be successful.
We talked about Tucker last week. We'll talk about Jake this week. What has he done with the offense in the past couple of years to just kind of turn things around and get the offense moving really well to start the year here this year?
Jake never turns it off. Jake is 100% football. He's always thinking. There are so many different things that we're doing right now offensively that you did not see in 2023, and that's, a lot of people would say, well, where do you hang your hat? I mean, are you changing things constantly? That's not how Jake sees it. Jake sees it as, what's a better way to do it? What's a more efficient way to do it? And that's the way we're going to do it. And I don't care how we got to get it taught. We get it taught. Every single week seems different, and his mind is constantly finding different ways to get his playmakers the ball. And that's where I think his maturity as an offensive coordinator has just gone through the roof in the last 2 years. Is he's just figuring out ways to get those people the ball. He's the quarterback whisperer, in my opinion. The guy just finds ways to coach great quarterbacks, and I don't think it's because those quarterbacks come to him great. I think they come to Jake with ability, and then Jake kind of harnesses it and teaches them the game, and through quarterback school all summer long, and turns them into great players.
Homecoming weekend, games obviously moved up to 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you and mean to the players as well to see former alumni coming back and being on the sideline for games?
You know, I'm glad Baker always does this Hall of Fame induction. They do a kind of a ceremony before, and then they do a ceremony, the actual induction there in Rice. And I've always felt like that's a special deal. I think that anytime, and I tell our players that we're excited to be there on Friday, tomorrow night, because it's important to pay respect to people that have come before you, kind of laid that ground for you to be a student athlete here at Baker. And I think it's really special. I'm looking forward to it. I've always felt like homecoming is just it's a special deal because you're going to see so many faces on that sideline you just haven't seen in a long time. But they know that's their week. That's their week to come back. They're excited. The juice is back in the stadium. I expect another packed house tomorrow. And it's going to be a really special week, and I'm glad to be a part of it again.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today, Coach. Be sure to tune in to BakerWildcats.com at 11 a.m. on Saturday as the Wildcats take on Culver Stockton.